Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Foxes Fête 2021, to the illustrious Inter-Kingdom International Tourney of the Mills. I'm Şimon Frumos, alongside my trusted companion.
I'm Knut Bjornsson, and I have a few very important things to share right off the bat. First, I haven't seen a mill yet today. It looks like we're playing a board game. Second, Fight Foxes 2021. I thought this was the first time we were doing it this way. It's going to be a great show. We've got some amazing athletes playing an amazing board game today. They're from all over the known world, if you look at the map the right way, and it's going to be a phenomenal sport. We are going to see people at the top of their game playing a game at the top of its game. Let's get ready for this thing. So, Şimon, do you want to take the crowd through a basic understanding of what we're going to be witnessing?
Well, yes, Knut, I do believe I could do that. First, you will see a board. Then, you will see two combatants carefully, strategically placing pieces upon the board, trying to form what is known as a mill. This will allow one player to remove the other player's pieces. Once all the pieces are placed, you will have the two combatants taking turns moving their pieces to try to form further mills until one player is out of pieces.
So we've got two people playing to the extinction. The game's not over until you're out of pieces, but the game's really over when you're out of pieces. We're going to watch some amazing work today. We're going to see lines. We're going to see angles. We're going to see corners. We're going to see squares. All of it's happening on a board. It's going to be a great show.
Yes, I do believe so.
So we've got some amazing athletes showing up today. What we have on the red side, we have Şimon, and playing the black pieces, we have Kesa. It's going to be a great game. Let's see what they've got for us. It looks like what we're witnessing is the first move.
Yes, it appears that Şimon is opening with b4, and Kesa is opening with g7.
It's a bold move. Let's see if it pays off.
Follow with a red piece at a1, and a black piece at f6. Ooh, this is getting very exciting, Knut.
Oh, I am absolutely stoked right now. I am in actual shock. And that's not because my laptop shocked me a little bit when I was plugging in this morning. Oh, and look at the block. We're seeing some D early in the game.
That we are. And Kesa goes for that corner piece. Interesting move there, Kesa.
It's all about controlling the lines and the corners.
Quite so, Knut. Quite so.
Oh.
And there we see Kesa setting up for the early mill, but it is blocked by Şimon.
You see, the interesting thing about blocking is that you're stopping somebody from doing something they were working on. So here we see, another block coming in. Oh, it's getting tense in here.
Quite so. Very ruthless play from these early competitors.
I mean, these people are at the top of their game, at the top of this game. This is not a place to watch 9 children's Morris. This is 9 grown people's Morris today.
All right. As we can see, almost all of the pieces are placed on the board, and Şimon acquires a mill.
We do have a mill. Let's see what happens. Oh, early point scoring coming in by Şimon.
Şimon will now place the last of his red pieces on the board, followed by Kesa with the last of her black pieces, and then we will continue to the movement phase.
So right now, it's all about setting up where you're playing from. This is like lining up your path to victory. And it's really interesting to see how people are choosing to do it. Oh, and shutting down a double mill. Beautiful work by Kesa.
Yes. Now, let's see when we commence to the movement phase how our competitors will fare.
Now, this is the part of the game that's harder to predict. And it's really interesting to see these movements going on. Look at that corner control.
You see, Knut, the exquisite beauty of this game is that until pieces begin being removed from the board, there are very few choices the players can actually make.
And you see, because there are so few choices, this game has been solved for 400 years. It really comes down to who can see the movement and know what needs to happen.
Now, that said, Knut, I do believe there is an intimidation factor at play here.
Well, there always is. I mean, you're on camera. You're an intimidating fellow. Oh, you meant in the game. Yes. We do try our best to not kill our viewers. This is a game where every move matters.
And that was a wonderful move from Kisa.
Absolutely.
As she opens up that inner square, Simon has very few choices, which allows her to maneuver for a mill on an outer square.
And you see, by controlling the field, you really make the field yours. That's why you control it. And if you can lock down one area and keep someone on their back foot, much like fencing or heavy fighting or anything that involves people having 1 foot forward, you're going to have more control of the sport. Oh,
This is quite thrilling, as I'm sure you can see from my face.
you know, it all comes down to who's got the more developed skill and the more developed timing. And right now, I'd say we're looking at two people who are really equally developed with this. This could go either way.
And we have another mill from Simon. As he
And a
sets up,
beautiful mill.
he will now remove one of Kisa's pieces, and he has set up the infamous double mill.
So what we're about to witness is a steam engine. It's a thing that'll be invented a few hundred years from now that can just move back and forth, removing pieces. It's a very strong move. It's a very difficult move to set up.
Yes. You know, some say that the A1D1 mill that we're currently seeing was invented by Alexander the Great.
Well, Alexander the Pretty Good. He's not playing in this tournament, is he?
No, he certainly isn't, Knut.
I thought not. I haven't seen a list of entrants yet. Oh, and we see Kisa moving for a defensive move here, trying to get this mill locked down.
But Simon will not allow it.
This is a game where you have to think 3 steps ahead.
3 steps ahead indeed, Knut. And you know, as the great Earl Leonard of County Skinnerd once said, give me 3 steps.
I didn't peg you as a fellow that listened to classical music.
Ah, yes, it is quite relaxing in my off time. And the winner of this
And
round
we do
is
have
Simon. With
It was
the
excellent
infamous,
play.
With the infamous A1 to D1 double mill.
Now, you know, I heard some wacko say once upon a time that was invented by Alexander the Pretty Good.
Yes, I believe I have heard that in my time as well.
Who was the guy that said that? He wore a big hat, funny looking feller. Oh, it was you.
Ah, yes. I do believe that I said that.
So that was an excellent play that we got to witness. No, we were all there. Well, all 6 of us. That was a beautiful play. So the double mill that we referenced, what that enables a player to do is to move one piece and to be able to control the board by removing their opponent's pieces. It's really hard to defend because you can remove the pieces that are shutting it down.
Exactly.
It's a strong strategy. It's a bold strategy.
It is a bold strategy, Knut. But as we saw here, it certainly paid off.
It absolutely pays off. Now, one thing that I've seen is that strategy can shut down a very strong opponent. Oh, and we have our next announcement.
Yes. Yes, it would appear that way. It appears on the red side we have Elizabeth, and on the black side, Melkorka.
Let's see what we get in the placement stage. Strong move on the inner square.
An interesting B4 beginning, mirrored by an F4 beginning.
So it looks like what we're witnessing now is something similar to the Kasparov defense in chess. It's really going to be interesting to see how this plays.
Yes.
Oh, and we see a block on the right-hand side there.
Now, as we see here, Melkorka has trapped Elizabeth in a pattern of only being able to defend their moves and not developing their own strategy.
And what this allows is a strong control early on. Oh, we do still have movement on the board here. We see some real pondering going on right now. The cerebral part of the game.
Yes. Now, as we said, even though Black takes the second move, through that initial opening move, Melkorka has forced Elizabeth only into blocks, allowing Melkorka to take dominion over the pace of the game.
And that control of the pace is amazingly important. If you've ever watched heavy fighting, you can understand the person that's moving is the person that's shaking the board.
I have never watched a single heavy fight in my life, but I will take your word for it, Knut.
I've seen you try to pick up weapons at shows. Oh, and we have a mill captured by Elizabeth.
It seemed that way. And now we move into the movement phase of the game once again.
Now Cork is going to have to think fast to get this mill under control.
Yes, quite. But now with that movement, Elizabeth has freed up a second mill.
2 mills.
But not
it's like
a double
an industrial
mill.
district. Not a double mill. That would require one piece moving in either direction to create a position of movement.
Yes, well stated.
Totally separate. This is 2 mills. These are just 2 general mills, if you would.
Eloquently said.
Eloquently heard. Bold offensive move by Melkorka there. No, it is not.
No, we only wish that we had sponsors.
Most people try to pay me to stay quiet. No one's going to sponsor me to speak.
If we had
And
sponsors,
we see
I
another
might be able to afford shoes.
That's the best thing about webcasting. I'm wearing my slippers. And here we see Elizabeth continuing to run that mill on the left side of the board.
Yes, it's quite deadly. Unfortunately, barring some sort of miracle on The board here, I do believe this game will belong to Elizabeth.
It looks like it could go that way. It looks like it could. Now, Gorka almost had a mill opened up on that bottom line on the inside box for a moment, but Elizabeth did capture that and shut that right down. Again, this is a game that is all about getting it moving. This is a momentum-based game. Again, like heavy fighting. And a third mill opened up. Elizabeth playing defensively here with that third black piece trying to move into the center box. Oh, the control of this board. These are some of the strongest players in the kingdom. I've played this game a few times.
Yes,
This
you
is
weren't
impressive.
very good at it.
Well, that's why I'm a commentator. And Elizabeth captures the game.
Yes, well done, Elizabeth.
Very well done. So what I'm curious to see is what we're going to see on the next board. Because I know we're going to see 3 squares. I know we're going to see a series of red and black pieces. Beyond that, it's anybody's game.
Well, I wouldn't quite say anybody's. I believe the game will belong to one of the 2 players playing the game, Knut.
It's anybody's game that's playing the game. I just lost the game. That's your fault.
Blame accepted.
Blame assigned. Blame assigned. Some worries, friend. Some worries. Let's see what we've got coming up next. We're going to have some amazing movement. Oh, we have Şimon and Melkorka. Melkorka will be playing the red pieces in this cycle.
Yes, and that means that Şimon will play the black, as is tradition.
It is generally the case that when one player plays one, the other player will play the other. Not always the case, but usually. We see a defensive move by Şimon early on. Melkorka moving into the center square, or the second layer. And Şimon again moving defensively, controlling that midpoint, really locking that thing down.
Yes. Now, as we've seen in the last 2 games, it came down to who was able to develop a mill on the outer square. Will that be the case this time, or will we see more inner square control?
And what's interesting is that the outer square is the one with the least access from the rest of the board. This is the place that's hardest to defend.
And we
see
first
movement
outer
on the outer
piece.
square. Now, this is a very strong strategy because if you can control that outer square, there's really very little defensive property. It's a square, right? Not a whole lot of roads. But you'll see a lot of movement going on inside the middle row, which is where we're seeing movement going on right now, or at least placement.
And Melkorka attempts to set up that early mill.
Right up on G7. Let's see what happens here.
And Şimon will block the mill on G1.
This is 2 strong players playing strongly.
Yes, as we can see, Şimon did a wonderful job of securing all 4 of the 4-way intersections on the middle square.
Now you see he's got traffic lights set up, and if Şimon can just keep the traffic from flowing, he's going to be in a position to control the flow of that traffic. Şimon moving to the outer top corner.
Yes, Şimon playing a purely defensive game at this moment, but with magnificent control of the center square.
Well, and we see this in even more modern games. If you can control the flow of the game, then the game flows like you tell it to.
Much like heavy fighting?
I was actually going to say a game created by a large gaming company on the coast, predominantly made of wizards.
Ah, yes.
All about that
Who are
control.
also not our sponsors.
Absolutely not. No. No. In fact, they take my money. And what do we see here? Well, we see a 9-men's Morris board.
Melkorka will now place their last piece.
And let's see what we get here. This is the part of the game that gets really, really stressful to watch. My hair is turning gray as I watch this movement.
Oh, and a bold choice from Melkorka.
Playing that corner control, a very bold strategy. Trying to get that movement going early in the game is going to take some time for both players.
Although if I had to wager, I would say that Simon is going to take that D3 piece, setting
Well,
up.
I could predict things too if I watched him do it live.
And he's now setting up that G1 to D1 mill.
We do see that mill, and I'm really interested to see what he does with it. There are a lot of threats on the board against Simon right now. And one piece captured.
The first piece of the game goes to Simon.
I thought the first piece of the game was the placement phase. Let's see what Melkork is going to do here.
And Simon establishes the double mill.
We do see that double mill, and for the people watching at home, what's happening is inside the center square and the mid-row square, Simon could now move one piece and effectively remove one of Melkorka's pieces every cycle. Just like that.
Now, as we saw last game, Knut, a double mill is not necessary for a victory.
No, it is
very
absolutely not. You see, it's a bit like a strong passing game. In any game where you're passing a ball, it's good to have, but it's not a guarantee. We see Melkorka working defensively to try to get this board back under control.
But I do not think Simon's going to allow that.
I certainly wouldn't if I were playing. Then again, I might. I am not a good player of this sport. It's why I'm a commentator.
Well said, Knut.
That is what I do. And the mill continues to run. Simon beginning to capture further control of the board. That center square almost completely controlled. Those who can't commentate, those who can't commentate, well, we organize tournaments.
And here we see Melkorka down to only 3 pieces. I believe with one more run of this mill, Simon will have secured the game.
You are correct. With that run of the mill, this game is decided. Simon did an excellent job with that strongly defensive strategy in the early phases.
Controlling all 4 of those 4-way intersections on the middle square was absolutely key to that victory.
You see, if you can constrain the movement, then you are the movement. And that's what really matters here. It was a beautiful demonstration of this wonderful sport that we all love to watch so much.
Yes, absolutely. Well done, Simon.
Oh, and now we've got Kisa and Elizabeth coming onto the field.
Yes. The return of two stalwart competitors.
Let's have a look and see what happens.
Hey guys, just want to pop on for a second. It's Cal. So just an FYI, I realized we didn't actually talk about the tournament format we're using today. So we were doing a round robin style, which is why you're seeing the same players play over and over. So we're doing points based for the winners, and if we have a tie, then we'll go to a final match. So currently, that's with our first 3 rounds. We'll have 3 more rounds of regular play, and then we'll look for a final game. So just a little rules update there. So thanks, guys.
All right, thank you. So here we are, midway through regular season play. And what an amazing season it's been. And we see Kisa with the red pieces on this session.
Beginning with a play at c5.
And let's see what Elizabeth does to respond to that.
Beginning to take those 4-way intersections.
We're beginning to see a control strategy develop right here in front of us.
Elizabeth going for the early mill.
Now you see, Kisa's set up to have a mill going immediately this cycle, just like that. Strong early placement, tic-tac, and toe. And we need to see what Elizabeth's going to do to shut that down. Oh, Elizabeth opens up a mill.
Good choice taking that upper left piece. If she had taken one of the ones already within the mill, it would have allowed Kisa to just replace a piece.
So this is an interesting thing, and it's the first time we've seen it this tournament. What we've seen is 2 mills created, one by each player in the setup phase.
Rules clarification. Pieces in mills are protected from being removed unless there's no other options.
Oh, yes.
I'm really glad we have Cal here.
Yes, it does help having somebody that actually knows how to play this game with us.
If you've seen either of us ever play it, you know we don't. In fact, the last time I played this game was at a Foxes. People tell me.
And we have another mill formed on the inner square.
Oh, see, we're seeing a very strongly offensive game this cycle. This is Morris. Curious to see what Elizabeth's going to do with these pieces. Oh, we're seeing some defensive moves, and the center square is full.
Now, as we can see here, though Kisa did take the early advantage with those inner square mills, she's now at a severe disadvantage of movable pieces as that inner square has been completely blocked.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens moving forward. Because we've had such a strong offensive setup phase, the movement phase is going to be absolute chaos.
Yes.
Oh. Oh. See, what we see is the potential for a mill.
See it that way.
And there it is.
the first mill of the movement phase. Now,
Fourth mill of the game. Strongly offensive play today.
Now, as Cal reminded us recently, pieces that are currently within a mill are immune from removal unless there is no other option.
And what about the pieces? Oh, Kisa is setting up to get movement going on inside that left center mill.
Yes, it would appear that way. And now all of Elizabeth's pieces are on that middle square.
It's interesting to see this happening.
And a wonderful block there from Elizabeth.
I'm a little bit concerned about how that's going to play off. Let's see what happens here. Oh, and removes the piston out of the mill. Let's see if it works again.
And Kisa moves to block that upward mill.
An interesting strategy and one that I don't understand yet. I'm excited to see what comes from this. As Elizabeth opens up that right center mill. There's more tension on this board than my belt after an amazing feast. And we see another mill opening up and closing out. Let's see who it gets removed. It looks like Kisa's going to be able to do something with this mill, maybe start to get some control back on the board.
It does appear that way, Knut.
What we're seeing is a real punch out now. It's just going to be who makes the right move at the right time. They are slugging this thing out right now in front of all of us. I choose to believe all 7.5 billion of you on this planet are watching this. And we see
7.5
another
billion.
mill.
Minus
Yes.
the two playing.
Oh, good point. Good point. I don't know how to do the math for that.
And we see Kisa taking that center mill once again. Removing the mill option from
Elizabeth's
Elizabeth.
mill. This is a tight game. This is tension. This is sport. A bit like driving through South Downs traffic. I don't know what's going to happen next.
And Kisa slams that central mill one more time.
So let's see what Elizabeth does here. I see a path to victory from here in the cheap seats. I'm interested to see what happens. Looks like with very careful board control, we may be witnessing the final moments of this slug out. Look at that block. No, don't look at that block.
So Elizabeth was playing under a set of rules called the flying variation, which allows when you're down to 3 pieces to move to anywhere on the board. For this tournament, we have said that it's a standard movement only, no flying, which is why she's now stuck to the loss, and Keith takes the board.
Thank you for the rules
And
clarification.
excellent work on this. You know, Şimon, we probably should have read the rules this morning.
Well, as Kal-bardr stated, this tournament is operating under a no-flying policy.
I'm on a no-flying policy list myself. Would
That
you
is
believe
not
my amount
something that
gets
I
me
would
in
share with the public, Knut.
Well, I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yes. That would explain why I am broadcasting from sunny Los Angeles while you are in your apartment building.
Yes, absolutely. Also, I'm fairly sure you're like 10 minutes down the road from me.
In Los Angeles. All right, we have our next matchup, folks. We have Simon taking the red side and Elizabeth taking black.
So let's see what they're going to do with this. What we see again is a very interesting opportunity.
And Simon opens up with d6, a favorite of his moves I've seen this tournament.
Oh, and Elizabeth responding with working on that same control strategy.
Simon creating symmetrical pressure with the d2 move.
And Elizabeth capturing that other side. We've got a lot of movement that's not going to happen now.
As we've seen, both of these players are excellent at early game center control.
Well, you see, if you control the center, the whole middle is yours.
Well said.
I know, that's why I said it. What is Elizabeth's move here?
Don't quite know, Knut. But I am excited to see. And she goes for an a7 corner.
See, this can get spicy very quickly now. Oh. Let's see. Playing defensively there, choosing to shut that mill down. Could it be? No. We do see it. We're seeing this game shifting to the outside.
And Simon with the block in that corner. As you said earlier, this is quite the defensive game.
Well, and what's interesting about the defense in this game is that your defense creates the system by which your offense runs later.
That may have been the single smartest thing I've ever heard you say.
Oh, well, I say smart things from time to time. You're usually just too busy bumping your gums. No, I'm not. Now let's see what Elizabeth's going to do as we move into the next phase. This is the last movement that's going to really be unimpeded in this game. Going for a strong
an
defensive strategy.
Excellent choice placing that on the E3.
See, now here's the interesting part. Because there's so much control locked down, there's functionally no real control of movement on this board. It would be chaos, but it's bigger. It's Elos. This is Elos that we're witnessing right now.
I don't know what that means.
It's one bigger than chaos. It's the next letter.
Ah.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh.
Could rub them both together there. We got this.
I understand.
Yeah, you do. Listen to the wad man. He's wise. And we're in the movement phase. See, everybody's really constrained in this. It's like an awkward court. There's no easy way out here. This one's going to be another slugfest. We're going to see hard hits, and we're going to see him landing rarely.
I do have a feeling, though, that once one player opens up the dam, the moves will begin to flood out.
Sir, we cannot curse on this stream. Okay, it's referred to as a water retention wall. There are children.
As soon as that water retention wall opens,
the
water will cease to be retained.
Am I the only person that takes this seriously? Oh, we do see the floodgates opening now. Do you see it, Şimon?
Oh.
Do you see it?
I see it.
I see it. The question is this something that can be defended at this point?
And we see our first mill of the game from Şimon.
And here we are, moving into the real attack phase as Şimon begins capturing these pieces. Let's see what Elizabeth's going to do in response. I suspect move a piece. I was correct. Mill is running now. Running like the Kal-bardr shield wall from the Meridian attack unit.
And as we see here, Şimon has truly established himself as a master of control, setting up multiple mills while removing options for his opponent.
That is what we would call playing the game strongly. And a lot of that comes down to having your pieces where you wish they were.
Well said, Knut.
I know I was there. Oh. I see an offensive capability here.
But Şimon once again shuts that offense down.
We do see that happening. Oh, it was a strong move by Elizabeth. It was seriously a power move. This could have changed the way this game was flowing, and we still might see this thing reverse. It is not out of the realm of likelihood that this game could go in either direction.
Şimon moves his piece from C3 to D3. blocking Elizabeth's mill and setting up one of his own.
And it's interested to see. Do you think he's gonna shut the door on that one again? And he does. Oh, strong defensive move by Elizabeth.
Unfortunately, Knut, I think it might be a little too late.
I think it is. I think it is. See, as you have fewer pieces, you have more places to move, but you have to make those moves count. And if your opponent controls what's available, it's just hard to do it.
And of course, as we see with that T-shaped formation that Simon has on the left side of the board, he has multiple options for mills using the same set of pieces.
This is a game of momentum. And if you get Mo and momentum, it is on.
And that will be the final move of the game. Well done, Simon.
Very strong play by Simon in this round. Very strong play. We're moving into the last match of our regular season play here. That'll be the 6th table that we're getting to witness today. And so proud we are to bear witness to this.
And I believe I am receiving word from the studio that we are going to have a brief change in announcers.
Oh. This was not scripted. I'm a little bit concerned. More to the point, they've left me alone with all of you. Do you like me? I don't know anymore. No, could you imagine? Now, let's see what's going to happen next. Oh, wow.
All right, Knut.
All right, we've got Melkorka and Kisa coming into the 6th round of regular play. This should be the end of the cycle, and I'm curious to see what's going to happen.
Oh, I think we're going to see some wonderful Morris being played here, Knut.
You think so, huh?
I absolutely do.
Well, I would hope you do. I'm more surprised at the think than the so. And a strong word move by Melkorka to the outside center.
A wonderful piece played on A4 to open up the game. And a defense on C4 from Kisa.
Now, this is an explosive move that we're seeing here. This is the fastest I've seen a game start all tournament. These are two people that are scrapping, they're fighting, they're hungry. If the Karate Kid movies were about this, they would be called the Morris Kid, and they would be very, very different. But this is that pacing.
This ain't no Queensberry boxing rules. This is bare knuckle MMA.
That hasn't been
pieces.
invented yet. Oh, and here we go. Look at this quick, fast defensive move. This is Lightning Morris, and it is shocking. Sorry, that's my charger again. Ow.
This is absolutely lightning speed Morris happening here, Knut.
I haven't seen anything move this fast since they told us that Feast was self-serve a few years ago.
You do love those buffets, don't you?
I miss them dearly.
All right. Oh, some indecision from Melkorka.
Well, because what we're seeing here is that they've moved fast, they've moved hard, and now they have to own that. This was a fast-moving game, and now we're going to see the up-ins come from that.
And we see the move from E3 to D3, and likewise from F2 to D2.
Oh, do you see what I see?
I do. I see a mill on the left side middle square as Kisa takes the advantage.
It just came down to who was moving quicker. Kisa was able to shut down Melkorka's mill on that right-hand side, and let's see who gets the momentum. Momentum.
But now Melkorka sets up their right side mill. This is quite an even match of lightning-paced 9-man's Morris.
This really is. This is the Morris that we thought of when we said, let's do a color commentary for Morris. It's fast. It's crazy. It's Morris.
This isn't your granddad's Morris.
No, it is not. Mostly because it's played on a screen. Also because it is fast.
Faster than your grandpa's run to the bathroom after that prune juice.
You know, I wish I could say you're wrong, but that man can move. And we see the mill continuing to operate in that left center box and in the right. This is a fast-paced move.
With that movement on the right side, Melkorka blocks Kisa from setting up the mill, while setting up one of their own. This game could still be anybody's.
It absolutely can. No one has the roll. No one has the momentum yet. This is going to be a hard one to call. I'm glad we are just talking about it.
Aye.
Oh, and what we see is two people racing their mills here.
Aye, it's really the only move either of them have until the board opens up a bit more.
That is generally the case.
It's really expertly done from both players.
This is some of the fastest, sharpest Morris I've seen probably since 1:58 this afternoon, Eastern Standard Time.
Eastern Standard Time. This is taking place in Central Time, Knut.
I use real time, thank you. And we
simultaneously, we see a wonderful mill and Knut insulting half the kingdom.
All I'm saying is that my watch is right for me. And let's see what Melkorka does with this mill. Let's see what Kisa does with this defensive opportunity. Oh, it's beautiful. We're seeing fire on the left. We're seeing fire on the right. I would love to see this level of intensity every round. This is a speed game. This is running. This is arquebusing. This is what we're here for.
Aye, you can say that again, Knut.
I will. This is what we're here for.
And we see Melkorka slamming the right mill, keeping things evenly paced.
Now you see, this is a sport, and this is a session of this sport that really comes down to timing. Oh.
And unfortunately, with that move, I believe Kisa has just barely won that incredibly close match.
Kisa had the momentum one step earlier, and I wish I could say that this was minutes earlier, but it was seconds, because this was fast Morris. Look at it. Two people playing strong strategies, playing them similarly. This was evenly matched. This was beautiful. Contact a couple of those fellers that write songs in Europe. We're getting a musical made about this show.
This was just Morris the way it was meant to be played, Knut. Just a beautiful thing to watch.
It was glorious. It is the reason I got out of bed this afternoon. Otherwise, I would have stayed there watching cartoons.
Same. Absolutely the same.
This is a beauty. So I believe Cal's now tabulating a few points, and we're going to know in just a moment if we need to have a final match or if that was the end.
I sure hope we have another match, Knut, because I absolutely love watching Morris.
I love watching it. I love calling it. I think I would love dancing it. I don't know. Now, here's something that's very vital to remember. All of this is in good fun and part of Foxes Fête 2021. This is all online, Roaring 1520s. We're here, we're together, and these people are all representing their very different teams from all over the known world. I have heard that most of the players in this tournament are team affiliated, and I'm really interested to see what they did for their teams.
Aye, it'll be interesting to see how this affects the overall team standings.
All right, and I'm here with that information for you boys.
Hey.
So that was round robin style, and Simon took 3 of his games, which makes him the winner of the tournament.
The man goes undefeated with his
He is
uncontestable control of the middle square.
definitely a skilled gamesman. Now, for Foxes, however, both Simon and Elizabeth were not actually on teams for the Melee event. So point scoring for Foxes itself will go to Foxes and the Hound, which both Kisa and Melkorka were representing today. So they get points for playing, and then, of course, the points for participating in the game, even though Simon will take the winning points. So,
An absolutely wonderful display of sportsmanship.
there you go.
It was amazing, Morris.
I have one quick thanks, and then I'll let you two gentlemen do your sign-offs here. I'd like to thank Dame Arwen from Aethelmark for allowing us to use her playingcards.io boards today. So thank you to her and Aethelmark for their work for that. Made that a lot simpler to do, and I think was pretty easy to watch. So, and of course, thank you to the two of you for your hilarious commentary. The players on my side. So for those watching, I was in the Zoom with the players controlling that side, and they were hearing it through my mic and were cracking up while they were playing. So you guys were definitely serving as a distraction for some of the games. So well done on that.
It's a good thing that we didn't discuss what moves would have been best in different situations.
Okay. I don't think it would have mattered.
Probably not. They're probably all better at this game than we are.
That's right. All right, gentlemen, I'll let you do your sign-offs. I appreciate your time, and thank you all for watching out there. So handle it.
All right.
All right. Signing off from Foxes Fête 2021. I'm Şimon Frumos.
And I'm Knut Bjornsson. Stay classy, Meridies.
Stay classy, Meridies. This was